Hey everybody, it's JJ. It is Thursday on the Breakfast Club, and today I'm going to be answering Kizzume's 3 questions that he asked us. The first one is, what is your favorite type of humor? The second one is, what is your least favorite type of humor? And the third one is, do you think presidents should have political experience, or should they just rely on their morals and instincts and intelligence, and by surrounding them with good people? And I think that's a really good question. So my favorite type of humor is puns. My least favorite type of humor is anything that's sexist. I'm just kidding. Okay. I just feel like that's like what I am obligated to say, or I'm expected to say. So let me start again. Number 1, my favorite type of humor is probably any type of humor that's niche, or just like, you know, it can be any form, but I'm more about like the content, I guess. So like it could be a pun, it could be wordplay, whatever. But like when someone makes a joke about something that is just like so niche and so obscure and specific that I don't think anyone else had ever like would think of, like, I find that hilarious. Like, I started this Twitter page called Obscure Memes that I've only posted on like once or twice, but I should keep posting, where I just post memes that are like jokes that are combining 2 different obscure things, like League of Legends and X-Files. I'll make a joke about the 2 of those, and it's just like no one understands it except for me. So when someone makes a joke like that I get, it's just like hilarious, and I don't know why. And I think maybe it's partially due to the fact that I'm not expecting it, and to the fact that like there's some camaraderie and like 2 people being a part of a niche group together. Like when people make writing center jokes, when my fellow employees and consultants make writing center jokes, I think they're funny just because they're relatable, and you know, literally no one else in the world would understand this joke. And that's kind of like what I really like, and I don't know why. It's my favorite type of humor. My least favorite type of humor, I don't know. I feel like probably like potty humor, I guess. It's just not very funny to me. Like poop jokes and like, I don't know, like Family Guy. Family Guy used to be so, like, or maybe it didn't used to be funny. I used to think Family Guy was funny, and now it's kind of like, it's all like jokes about having sex with children and like poop jokes and throw up jokes, and I'm like, it's not like I'm morally against any of these things. I just don't think that they're funny, and they're not really done well. In fact, the most recent season of Family Guy that's on Netflix, at least, I don't know if it's like the last one out, the first episode was about Stewie taking Adderall, and it was so funny because it had Stewie taking Adderall and Brian taking Adderall, and their different reactions to it, or Ritalin or whatever they called it. But it was just hilarious, and I was like, wow, they're really tightening up their humor, and they're like putting effort into their jokes, and it was kind of relatable because I'm a college student, and you know, we all take Adderall all the time. Just kidding. But you know, like, yeah, college kids take Adderall. It's just funny, like, seeing those experiences recounted, and just like, wow, that is literally like everything I see all the time. But then they kind of like fell apart again and started going back to the child sex poop jokes. I'm like, I don't know. I think the like saying things for shock value is not funny to me. Like, and this isn't me saying like I'm morally against certain jokes, but like they have to be done well if they're gonna be funny. Like, you can't just like say child rape for like just shock value and it's funny to me. So I guess shock value is what it is. That's not very funny to me. And do I think a president, this is like 4 minutes of me talking about jokes. Do I think a president should have political experience? This is a good question. Because I mean, yes, I do. And I think that that's because there are certain things that you can only know by being in certain situations. And that was the most vague sentence I've ever said in my life, really. Mistakes were made. But, you know, you can be so smart, and you can observe politics, and you can know everything about economic policy and domestic policy and, you know, immigration policy and all this fancy stuff. You can know everything about it. But until you have been in the socio-cultural situation of being a politician, you're not going to be able to know all of the nuances and social context and like kind of like the underlying stuff that goes on in different interactions politically unless you've had that experience. Because you can study something for as long, it's like studying a language. Like you can study a language for your whole entire life. You are not going to be fluent until you go out there and you start speaking the language with people. And I think that's kind of the point, because not everything is, you know, you can memorize all the policies you want to, but you're not going to be able to have the experience until you have the experience. So those are just some of my thoughts, and that's all I have to say. I will see you guys next week. Bye!